What is up, guys? Dakota here, and welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we are going to be finally doing the first mod to the Jeep, which is installing the Hothead Headliner's headliner, which is supposed to help with sound deadening as well as keeping it cool when it's hot, like today. It's 96 degrees out, or keeping it hot when it's cool. So that's what we're going to be doing today, but first I figured we would go ahead and do a very unscientific sound measurement test at like kind of normal around town speeds, about 40 miles an hour. Then we'll jump on the highway and then we'll do a comparison between the two at the end. So I have my super fancy decibel app ready to go. I'm just going to kind of hold it right here and we'll kind of see where it is, and then like I said, we'll hop on the highway and then we'll actually get to the install and all that good stuff. So here we go. Alright, so at 40 miles an hour, just cruising, we're at about 64.4 decibels. So now let's go to the highway. Alright guys, so now we're on the highway. We're doing 70 miles an hour in 6th gear, and let's go ahead and start the test. Okay, so that was 71.3 with a max of 75.5. So clearly it's a lot louder on the highway. So anyways, let's go back to the garage and go ahead and start the install. And here it is, the Hothead Headliners kit. So what you see here is the kit itself, plus the additional Sound Assassin strips, as well as the additional rear side window panels that do not come with the kit itself. Then next, what you're going to need for this install is a knife or some sort of scissors to help cut the Sound Assassin strips, some cotton rounds, some acetone, this roller that comes with it, as well as a can of compressed air, and you'll see why in a second. Okay guys, so for the first step, we're going to remove the freedom panels, and don't do anything with the rear section, more on that later. And it's always a good idea to remember when you're setting down your panels to set them on something soft, that way you don't scratch them up. I just used 2 towels I had in the garage. Alright, so for the next step, we're going to go ahead and grab our acetone and our cotton rounds and go ahead and start cleaning the grooves on the freedom panels. That way the Sound Assassin strips have something, a nice clean surface to adhere to. And it's going to be the same process on both sides. So you're going to do it on the driver's side and then on the passenger side. Alright guys, the next step is grab the Sound Assassin strip and kind of test fit it a little bit. And we'll use our marker to mark where it needs to be cut so it'll fit correctly. Then we're going to go ahead and cut it down to the size that we need, and we'll probably use that other piece in a little bit. Once we've cut it, we will then peel back the brown paper on the back just a little bit, just enough to where we can set it down, and that way if we mess up on the alignment, you'll be able to pull it back up without having to pull the entire strip up. And once it's aligned, you can go ahead and pull the whole rest of the paper out, and then just kind of flatten it with your hands, get it nice and snug. Then you'll use the included roller to roll it. You don't have to put down a whole bunch of pressure, you don't need all your body weight, but you do want to put enough to where it'll kind of smooth everything out and get everything nice and flat. And you're basically going to repeat that process throughout each groove on both of the freedom panels. So again, you're just going to do a quick little test fit, pull the paper out, hit it with the roller, and repeat. Now that we've done that, this is basically what the top should look like after it's all done. So since they recommend leaving the back portion of the top on for installation, I went ahead and removed my rear seats. That way I could have a little bit more room while I was working back there. Plus, if I turn the Jeep on, I can have some AC, so that's not all that bad. So now we're going to be starting with the Sound Assassin strips on the back, and you're going to be installing them in these grooves right where my hand is. So very similar steps here in the back. Again, we're going to wipe every groove down with acetone to make sure that it's very clean and smooth. That way we can apply the Sound Assassin strips. Once the top has been cleaned with acetone, then the next thing we're going to do, just like on the Freedom panels, is test fit it and then lay it down and use the roller again to make sure it's firmly on the roof. Also, guys, keep in mind that a full strip is not going to go the full length of the top, but that's okay. You'll just end up cutting some pieces and using them to fill the gap. So here's an example of a piece that I cut to fit the rest of it. Now, they do say that past the sound bar, you don't need to apply any Sound Assassin strips past that. I just went a couple inches past the sound bar just to be safe. So again, it's the same process that we did on the Freedom panels, just it's a little bit more tedious, but you do want to make sure that you take your time because, you know, this is something that you plan on having on your Jeep for a while, and it would really suck to have it just come falling down while you're driving and peel off. So like I said, just take your time, and it's super easy. Now that we've installed the strips on the back, we're going to remove the Freedom panels and use the included sandpaper to sand down the rest of the top. Now, they recommend 3 to 4 gentle swipes, but it didn't seem like it did anything to me, so I did a few more than that. And the reason that you're doing this is because you want to try to get a nice smooth surface for the adhesive of the rest of the headliner to stick to. And once you're done sanding, you're going to want to get out that can of compressed air that I mentioned, just blow away all the loose roof. And then you're also going to be using, yet again, the acetone to wipe that area down so it's a nice, clean, smooth surface for the actual headliner itself to stick to. Alright, so the next step is we're going to take the headliner, and they say to test fit it to the Freedom panels. Now, if I'm being honest, they only fit in there one way, so you don't really need to test fit it, but I went ahead and did that. And then you will go ahead and peel off the paper on the 3M tape, and then you'll start to press it in. Alright, so our next step, we're going to take the supplied cardboard cutout and just apply pressure to where the 3M tape is. They recommend you can use some painter's tape to mark where it was. I didn't do that, but you can if you want. And just enough times to where you feel like it is going to be stuck on there. I started doing chest compressions, just not because I'm a doctor or anything, I'm just an idiot, but just enough pressure to where, you know, you feel like it'll stick on there fairly well. And after that, you're basically done, and you're going to do the same thing to the other Freedom panel. And then they do recommend that you go and put the panels back on and let the sun kind of help heat the 3M tape to make sure that they stick. Alright, then we're going to hop in the back and we're going to sand the spots where the back headliner is going to go. And just be on the lookout, because when you start doing this, you're probably going to have some of the stuff fall on your face. But then after that, we're going to use the acetone to wipe it down and go ahead and install the headliner. So just like installing the other headliner panels, we're going to test fit them. And then once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and start installing this back portion. Now, the back portion is a little bit tricky just because it gets kind of stuck on the soundbar, so you kind of got to give it a tap. I would recommend, though, if you can take your top off, go ahead and take the top off, just because I feel like it would make it easier. I'm not sure why they recommend you don't. Anyways, and then once you do that, same thing, you're going to take that cardboard, just start pushing it up, same way you did with the Freedom panels, and make sure that it's up there firmly. And then once you're done doing that, we'll go ahead and hop back into the front seat so we can go ahead and push up on the front Freedom panels one more time now that they've had some heat to help them set in. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and wipe down the area for the side window panels. And once we do that, then after we've test fitted it, we're going to take the Velcro strip off of the panel, start peeling it, and going to apply it to the correct areas. Now, I wanted to point out that in this particular part on applying the Velcro strip, it is a little bit tricky to get back there, and only half of it's going to be on there, so don't worry about that. And as far as the bottom strip goes, you're going to put it right here where I put the little text. because if you put it anywhere else, the panel is not going to actually sit on the Velcro and be stuck there. And now once we've done that, we're just going to fit the side panel into the Velcro, and you kind of got to finagle it around the little electrical connection on the top. But once you do that, you're just going to press firmly to make sure it's stuck into the Velcro, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And the last piece of the puzzle is to take this little strip and put it right here on the back of the top, and we're done. So here's what the finished product should look like, and you got everything installed, so now it's time to go for a drive. Alright guys, it is officially installed. It still smells like you can smell the fabric that they use and everything. So anyways, now we're gonna do our driving portion to see if on the very first, literally this is my first drive after installing it. So we're gonna see if I notice any differences at the driving speed. So we're gonna do the 40 miles an hour again, as well as the 70 miles an hour again, to see if I can have any immediate differences between the two. And we're gonna go from there. All right, so that one was only a little bit quieter. It was 64, so not a whole lot quieter, about 0.4 of a decibel quieter. It does seem quieter, so we're using the app again, but it does seem a little bit quieter, but the real test will be on the highway. All right guys, here we are cruising at 70 miles an hour, so let's go ahead and test the noise. Okay, so the max last time was 75 and a half. This time it's 73.6. So that's pretty good. And just from initial impressions, again, first time, it hasn't, probably hasn't even fully set in. It seems to take out a little bit of it. I mean, it's very, obviously you still hear the tire roar and everything, but I'd say you get a little bit less of the wind, like rasp. I don't know how to explain it. If you've driven a Jeep, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't driven a Jeep, then like every now and then you just get this weird like extra gust that you can hear, that's like a little higher pitched than the rest of the wind, and that seems a little duller. So alright guys, so there you have it. There's the installation and my first initial impressions and sound test. Now obviously it's not just designed to reduce sound, it's also designed to, on days like today where it's 100 degrees out, help keep the interior cooler, and then also when it's cold, keep the interior warmer. So and they do say that with everything, if you add the Sound Assassin strips like I did and the full liner package, that it will make your sound system sound better, so that's a bonus. So anyways guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like. If you didn't enjoy it, then you don't have to do that. If you want to see more videos on the Jeep as well as other vehicles that we got coming, like the Corvette or the Bronco, make sure to subscribe and click that bell notification so you get notified for more videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.